Alright, ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to look at section 2.1, which is the midpoint formula. Okay, midpoint formula is literally finding a point in between two other points, which is in the middle. So the definition of a midpoint is a point that divides a line segment into two equal segments. All right, so again, it's just a matter of it being in the middle. So let's just say that I have these 2 points. All right, and let's say we put one of them at, say, 2, 2, okay, and the other one we're going to put at 10, 4. Okay, so I'll just 2, 2, and 10, 4. Now, if I want to find the midpoint of these two, the easiest way for me to look at it is, actually, let me just draw the line. There we go. All right, and the easiest way for me to actually think of it is somewhat like a triangle. So I'm just going to make this kind of looking triangle like this, and I'm just going to look at it like this. If I were to find the middle of the x-axis, or sorry, should I say the x-coordinates, that's 2 and that's 10. What would be the middle of it? Well, I would just do 10 plus 2 divided by 2. That would give me 6. So you can see that at 6, that's the midpoint of that, 6. Now, let's look at the y's. And I'm just going to go like that. You got 4, and you got 2, and what's the middle? The middle is, obviously, 3. So, at 3, that's the middle. So essentially what I've just done is I found the midpoint of my x-coordinates, and I found my midpoint of my y-coordinate. So again, the midpoint of my x-coordinate and the midpoint of my y-coordinate, and literally all I'm going to do from here is just extend it up to here, and that's it. So the midpoint of our line is 6 and 3. That's all. There it is. So that's our midpoint. Yay, we're done. So how did we do this? What was the actual formula? How did that happen? Well, what we did was we had our two coordinates. That's one and that's the other one. And then the way we just did it is I just decided for this to become x1 and y1. And this was x2 and y2. Okay? Two different points. Doesn't matter which one's x1 and y1 and which one's x2 and y2. Just make sure that they are consistent. So if you've chosen one to be x1, then the corresponding other point coordinate, should I say, should also be y1. So what did I do? I literally just did this. I took x1 and I added the other point and I divided it by 2. And then I took the y1 plus the y2 and I divided it by 2. And that, everyone, is the midpoint formula. And if you notice, I'm using capital M. Capital M is for midpoint. Small m is for, that's right, for slope. So capital M is for midpoint. This is the equation. Add up the two x values divided by 2, add up two y values divided by 2, and have it as a coordinate when it's done. So you guys can see, I'll show you guys the ending. And there you have it. After everything is plugged in, you get your answer as 6, 3. All right? Perfect. And see, it moved it around just to show you that it is the right thing. So another thing that we use a midpoint with is when we talk about the median of a triangle. So what's the definition of that? It is a line segment joining a vertex of a triangle to the midpoint of the opposite side. So for example, you've got the vertex such as A, and it joins the midpoint of the opposite side. Or this side, this is the vertex, and it joins the midpoint of the opposite side, vertex B, to the midpoint of the other side. So the question that we have now is to determine an equation for the median from vertex C. So from vertex C, and it's got to go through to the median of line AB. All right, so let's figure out, first and foremost, in order for us to do it, because it's the midpoint of the opposite side, it means that I need to find the midpoint of AB. So I'm going to let you guys figure out that, and you can pause it, and then when you start play, it will give you the answer. And so there's the work. You can see that I did -3 plus 2 divided by 2, -3 plus 2 divided by 2, and then 3 plus -5 divided by 2, and you get -1/2 and 1. And if you take a look, actually, you can see they're right at -1/2 and -1. That's the midpoint. So I'm just going to mark that there, -1/2 and -1, and that is my midpoint, and I'm going to call it M. So in order for us now to figure out the equation of the median from this vertex, I am now looking for this line that can show up right there. Now how do I do that? Well, I first have to find the slope of that line, and the good thing is I have 2 points, so I'm going to find out the slope. So we're going to say the slope. Now again, remember, this is now little m, lowercase m, so the slope of CM is going to be, we know that it's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. All right, and I'm just going to try and make this a little smaller. Oh, it's going to move everything around, so I guess I got to leave it. All right, so let's plug it in and see what we get. So 2 minus -1 over 5 minus a negative and -1, 1 over 2. All right, so now we just got to get some work done, and our slope is now 3 over, and we'll call that 11 over 2, which gives us 6 over 11. And this is our slope. So how do we finish it? Now all we have to do is we have to plug in our slope into our equation. Y is equal to mx plus b. So for m, I'm just going to put 6 over 11 x plus b, and we just sub in another value, or we sub in one of these 2 points, for x and y, and then we'll see what we come up with. Now I'm going to use probably this one just because of the fact that they're whole numbers, and I will put in here 2 is equal to 6 over 11 times 5 plus b, and we'll solve it. So I'm going to solve it at the end over here. So we get 2 is equal to 30 over 11 plus b. All right, and then we'll move everything over. So I'm going to get b is equal to 2 minus 30 over 11, which is going to be 22 over 11 minus 30 over 11, which in the end equals to -8 over 11. And that is my b. So I have my slope, which is 6 over 11, and I have my b, which is -8 over 11. So in the end, my equation is y is equal to 6 over 11x minus 8 over 11. And there you go. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Just check on Edmodo to look for the link for the questions that you can do to make sure you understand today's lesson. All right, take care. Bye-bye.